Good morning, everybody. This is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We are over here by the cabin this morning in our cold frames. And guys, we're ready to plant our sweet potatoes. So we're a little bit behind, but the freeze kind of knocked us behind several weeks there. But came over here and opened up where we planted them last year, and there's already sweet potato draws coming up in here. So what we're going to do is I don't want to use the same bed because of insects and things like that. So we're going to move down to the other bed on the other end and use it to put our draws down there and get them started. We're going to be doing the white ones and the red ones again this year. Now I don't really have a name for them because over the years I've never really known what the name was to them, to be honest. They were just potatoes given to me by older people that always had them, and we have bought a few and added in with them at times. All I know is they're fantastic potatoes, all I know. Guys, if you're interested in the cold frame here, we'll have a link in the cards up above to show you the video to where we actually built this and how we built it. And we might even put a video in there where we grew the sweet potato slips last year, where we had the whites on this side and the reds on that side. Guys, this is a 4x4 and that's a 4x4 area. Last year we produced over 1,000 slips out of just this little spot right here. This year we're not going to plant that many because the rules and the regulations have changed in our state. We can no longer ship out sweet potato draws to people and stuff like that because of some stupid, idiotic rules that our government thinks that we have to make. So we're going to only be planting enough this year for Wanda and me, and maybe a few extras to give away to some family or friends here in the state of Mississippi. We want to show you this year a little bit different technique. I'm going to go back to doing it the way my daddy did it. He always had really good luck doing this, and I'm just going to use his advice for when I was a kid. I'd kind of gotten away from it, but I'm going to get back to it. So let's get over and get busy. First thing we're going to do is just get any weeds that's in the bed out. And because it's just me and Wanda this year, I'm not going to plant two different beds here. I'm just going to plant the one 4x4 bed here. I'm going to divide it in half. We're going to have whites on one side and reds on the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take some of this dirt out and put it over on the other side there, because I'm going to actually do a different system this year. There we go. All good slips.
You think that's enough fertilizer?
I hope so.
So that's triple 13?
Yep.
Just to give the soil a boost, because we are all about getting this up and going.
Fast. We're way behind. We got to hurry.
We're about 2 weeks or better, 3 behind.
Yep.
And if we'd have had them up last week, we would have lost them probably. So we didn't do the double planting. This will be the first time. And if we have, hopefully no more freezes.
Hopefully we don't have to. Well, we got to see, we can close these down if they don't get too bad.
And they're not too tall.
And it didn't, I mean, it didn't kill all the other ones. It just kind of burned them back a little bit. All right, we're going to kind of like, I'm going to pile the dirt up. I'm trying to make a deep, kind of like a trench. Now, all the dirt to the back there. This side here, we're going to put the whites in. And guys, I tell people, don't use your big old pretty potatoes. It's not necessary. These little long ones, this is where you're going to get your most slips from. These little long, slender potatoes like this. And plus, it's so much easier to put them in the ground. And it ain't no rocket science to it. Just get them in here, get them laid in the ground. All right, guys, we've got, I've got a sweet potato manual that I've written that talks about planting these like this. Guys, there's one there already starting. Look at that. That's what I was telling you about those long ones. You can put your sweet potatoes in water, but that's not how you do it. If you're only wanting to raise, you know, maybe 10 or 12 slips or something like that, and you want to spend an extra long time doing it and having to check water and re-prop them off and try to stick them in water to reroot them, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. God never intended for it to be done that way. They're made to grow in the ground. I'll guarantee you from these few I'm putting right here, I will more than likely, just off of these white ones right here, I will probably harvest several hundred slips just off of this right here. You know, so because this is the way it's supposed to be done. I don't advise doing them in the water. Some people do. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I'm telling you, if you're wanting to raise them quantity and quality, put them in the dirt. And if you're in a place that's too cold, you go, well, I can't put them in the ground, it's too cold. All you got to do is go somewhere like a big box store or a Dollar General, dollar store, or whatever. Get you a plastic tote, put you some potting soil in it, stick your sweet potatoes in it, just keep them watered. Don't overwater them, but keep the soil moist. You'll grow more than you ever imagined growing. We have subscribers that have sent us videos of their potatoes, the ones in the water and the ones in a tote right beside them. And the ones in the water would have a few little sprouts sticking up on them, and the one in the tote would just be inundated with slips. And they said, wow, Danny, if you hadn't have shown me this, I would have never known. I watched other channels put it in the water, and I thought that's what you're supposed to do. And you have really helped me by showing me the right way to do it. So, guys, we've got this done now. And before that, let me reiterate the books that I've written. They'll be on our Etsy store. If you're interested in the sweet potato manual about how to do this, it's deepsouthhomestead.etsy.com. We'll put a link in the description where you can actually go to that and purchase them if you want. But the thing I'm going to do this year that's different in what my daddy did was we're going to put sawdust and wood shavings and stuff, because I run a planer a lot here and I always have a pile of sawdust and shavings left over, and I just leave them in a pile and let them start decomposing. So this morning we dug them up and put them in the tractor bucket, and I brought them over here, and we're going to put sawdust on top of these, because sawdust is probably your best thing to put over sweet potatoes. It's easy to hold moisture. When the slips come up, they put a ton of roots on in the sawdust, and it's really easy to pull them out. You don't break the slips off, and you have a really good root set. Now you want to be about at least 6 inches deep, because if you're 6 inches deep, that means you got 6 inches of just real heavy roots down the slip, rather than just having a few little skimpy little roots on it. This way you get a really good root set on your slips, and it ensures you a really good start on your sweet potato draws. So let me get some sawdust and get it in here, and we're gonna get this white ones covered up. Okay guys, these are pine and hardwood shavings. You go to do this, just make sure you don't use treated wood. If you happen to plain treated wood or something, don't use it. Now that I have the sawdust in here, we're going to kind of like level it out. And then I'm going to take some of this dirt and I'm going to just put it right back over the top of it lightly. All right.
So that prevents the soil packing around your potato.
Yeah, that keeps the roots moist and makes them really don't get packy. And when I put the soil over the top of it, it keeps the sun from pulling all the moisture out of the wood chips by packing the soil like this here down on top of it a little bit. So that's one side done. Time to move over to the other one. Okay, same thing goes for the red potatoes. Little long, crooked ones, that's what you want to use. You don't want to use your good baking ones with them either. We're just going to pitch them in here. Make sure you got pretty potatoes that are kind of disease-free. You don't want to put something in there that's all inundated with insects and stuff like that. Guys, these are all potato. Y'all probably looking at me going, wow, what a beautiful potato. This is actually scrap compared to what we raise. I mean, these are like not even that good a potato. But we keep all of our potatoes in a root cellar. That way we're able to keep them all year long.
That one has a sprout on it.
It had a little tiny one, I did see that.
That one's sprouting.
Got little tiny sprouts on the end. So hopefully it won't be too long. We'll be able to get some nice tater draws going here. And look, let me tell you, you can go to your local grocery store and get you some sweet potatoes and do this. I would advise, if I did that, I would advise getting organic ones if I could. That way you're kind of a little bit more assured that they haven't been sprayed with anything. You know, you run a little bit better risk of getting a better potato. And you can do it at home. Nothing big and fancy. See where the sprouts is coming out on. And y'all see, I'm not being particular with them. I mean, I'm just, because it really doesn't matter. That one's got nice little things coming out on the side there.
One good long tote would probably do more than anybody would want.
Oh,
you could just lay them across there.
Yeah. Unless you're planting a real big area. Now, Wanda and I plant a lot. Wanda and I usually, on a yearly basis, we plant anywhere between 600 and 700 sweet potato draws. But we have so many now that's canned and stored and stuff like this till this year, we're not going to do that many. This year, we're probably only going to do probably 200 or 300. And I think that will, we'll probably do maybe 200 of each one or something. You know, that'll give us like 400. That's way below what we normally do. And if we take really good care of them, we learned last year that if we take good care of them, they make a sweet potato 16 inches long and big and nice. The ones we're eating out of the cellar right now that's cured really nice, the old big red ones, are like pure candy. When Ms. Wanda cooks them in the oven and bakes them, tar runs out on the cookie sheet and almost fills the cookie sheet full of tar. So, I mean, that's how good they are. You get to this point, just take your old sawdust, nothing fancy. Just cover them up. All right, we're going to do just like we did the other bed. We're going to level it in. Take our dirt, rake back over it. All right. That's all there is to it right there. So, if you want to know more about it, check out the cards up above. We're going to have our videos up there and links to different things in the description down below about sweet potatoes, some of our videos. And if you haven't subscribed to us, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell so that when we put the new videos up, you'll know. And follow us along on this journey right here. And let's just see how my daddy's method does. And I know y'all saw me putting some triple 13 in here. But guys, the triple 13 is below the potatoes and above the potatoes. Right where the potatoes is nothing but pure sawdust. The roots will get in that sawdust, and as we water this, the nutrients will go down into the sawdust, and the roots will just run crazy in that sawdust trying to find all those nutrients in it. So now you can use bone meal, blood meal, and stuff like that. It's just that stuff doesn't have a guaranteed analysis to it. For growing the slips, this is perfectly fine to do this because you're not actually growing the potato on this here. you're just growing the slip. And what you want is to get that slip up as fast as you can and get it as big and as healthy as you can, so that when you put it into the soil and transplant it, it has a good, healthy start. Now we're probably going to let the lids down on this and let the ground begin to heat it up, because what happens is when that ground heats up, those sweet potato draws take off really quick. Because right now I got gloves on because the soil is like a refrigerator. And when I close this lid down and the sun comes through these Tough Tex panels, then it's going to heat this soil really quick, and those potatoes should just begin to Cadillac, guys. I'm not going to water it right off the bat because the sawdust was already wet from having sit out in the rain and everything. And I'm going to give the ground time to warm up, and then we'll come back probably tomorrow, and we'll probably water them really heavy tomorrow. And then we probably won't water them again for another week. Okay guys, we just realized here that we had some multiplying onions, our old-fashioned ones over here, and they don't need to be in this hotbed. Ms. Wanda stuck them here last year because we run out of room when we was planting them, and we don't want to lose them. We want to get them out into a good garden area. So I'm going to go ahead and dig these up and get them out of here where we can transplant them and try to get a good start of them going. People keep asking about them. If we can get a good start of them going, we might have a few for sale this summer. These are the old-fashioned multiplying onions that just multiply like crazy. We're going to take these over and try to get them planted in a specific spot and where we can really take care of them. Maybe we'll have a few to sell this summer. If the how do I say this? If the numbskulls that run our business, our country, and our agricultural departments and stuff like that try to make all these stupid rules, if they don't come up with some kind of rule by the stroke of a pen that says I can't sell you all these onions for some reason, then check back with us. I think it'll probably be around July or August when we harvest them up to be able to sell. Check back with us then, and we'll see if we're able to raise a few of them we can put up on Etsy maybe, and help a few of you guys get a good start on these old-fashioned multiplying onions. Okay guys, I'm gonna get the other one closed down here in just a minute. So check out the cards up above and the links down below, and you'll be able to see all the videos and all the information we have on growing sweet potatoes here in the Deep South. It works up north too. A lot of y'all are going to ask about varieties. Let me go ahead and say this: if you're up north, and I'm going to say when I call north, that's anything above the 35th parallel. To me, that's north. You know, I mean, y'all may still be called a southerner, but you're north. Anything above the 35th parallel, you're going to want a sweet potato that has a short vine and does more bunching at the roots. That's going to be something like a Beauregard or one of the. Just do the Google it, and you should be able to find out on the internet about which ones of them have the short vines and does all the potatoes at a bunch right at the end. They're not so much putting potatoes out on the vines running crazy out there. They grow in containers really well. The short vine types do. They call them bush sweet potatoes. Those kind do really well in containers and grow bags and things to this nature if you don't have room to plant like we do. Because if you plant the varieties like we do, these vines run up to 20, 25 feet out there, and they put potatoes in the ground everywhere that vine's touching the ground at, which is fine for us in a field. But when you're in a container situation and in a limited space, do your research and pick a potato to plant that that has a short vining aspect to it if you live in a cooler climate. Because here in the Deep South, it's about 125 days and we can harvest. If you're in a climate that you don't have 125 days, check out a short day variety with short vines that just mainly bunches right at the end right there where you planted at, and I think you'll be more satisfied with that. than you will if you try to go and plant some potato you just buy at the store, you know, and you don't even know what it is. So I thought I'd throw that in there if you want to be able to, you know, look for a particular variety. So thank you guys from Deep South Homestead. All right, guys, I'm over at the high tunnel, and we're gonna put these onions in here. Now I'm at the high tunnel that's got all the fruit trees in it and all the stuff like that. And I'm kind of hoping that by putting the onions in here, that it'll deter any kind of insects, because these things, boy, they're really potent as far as the smell of the onions is concerned. Now we've already pre-amended these pots right here. So I just want to kind of like make sure that everything looks good, and it does. The soil's nice and loose still. And what we're going to do, we're going to break them off into individual little plants like this. And I'm just going to stick them in the ground. Now these are not like a bulbing onion. You don't have to worry about the depth of these in the soil so much. Just make sure your roots get down in there good. Ooh, these are nice smelling, boy. These smell good here. Okay, this one right here was just a little skinny when we planted. And see, it's done turned into 3 right here. Look at the root system on it. See how nice it is? And when you break them off, just be easy with them. The roots will pull with them. And guys, I'm going to load this pot up right here because we done amended the soil. And we're going to let these babies kick it and get it. I'm trying to show you that in containers, y'all will stay with us on this journey here in our high tunnel and watch the growth of these things. We're going to show you how that you can grow in these containers and just how many onions you can get out of these containers. And I got enough here to plant a whole nother pot, so I'm going to probably do the other pot too. These in the high tunnel here are some we planted last fall. They were just 1 onion stuck in each one of these, and they have multiplied out good. We didn't do anything to them through the freeze. I'm going to call it the Great Freeze of 2021. Done nothing to them, didn't cover them, didn't do anything. And look at them, guys. They're standing up here just as pretty. And now that it's starting to warm up, these are beginning to actually take off and go, and you can see how much they've multiplied here. Look at that. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good onions come up in that one, and in about another month there'll probably be 5 more in that. The thing about these type of onions is these were the old-fashioned ones, and the old-timers would come out in the mornings and they'd pull off a few of these little long green stems, take them in the house, chop them up with some scrambled eggs and stuff like that in the morning for breakfast. Guys, these are what used to be in what's called the kitchen gardens a lot of time, outside the house there. We have the high tunnels now, so this is our kitchen gardens. You know, we come out here in the high tunnel and get what we need. Ms. Wanda's always coming out here pricking some of these long pretty green ends off of here and use them in different things that she's cooking in the house. You can eat them fresh. If you like fresh onions that way, it works out really good. Alliums is one of the better antibiotics that you can get and use on your homestead. That is a natural antibiotic. It has lots of good properties to it. And this is the old-fashioned multiplying onion. Now this is not what they call the nesting onion or the Lisbon onions or different ones like that. This is just the old-fashioned multiplying. I've had these probably since 2003 or 4, somewhere around in that area. I got them from a market from an older gentleman up there, and guys, they've never failed me. I have them stuck all over my place here everywhere, and we decided to move some into the greenhouse here where we could manage them more intensely and not have to worry about weeds and stuff like that. And I'm really pleased with the returns that I'm getting on them. Now, Ms. Wanda and I used to sell these when we had our little market going, and the people were crazy about them. They bought them for fresh eating, and they loved them. We couldn't keep enough of them to supply everybody. So that's how good they are. But guys, stay with us. Future videos coming up. Keep an eye on these as we show the high tunnels and see what's happening with them. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.